Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Uyandafreedom. Okay, I'm so excited that I was able to take a vlog. So hopefully next week I'll just post the vlog about like my experience on the Sunday market in and around Stellenbosch. Okay, so fully eventually we will have the video posted in the channel. Okay, so I like the fact that with the weather changing, obviously, I'm noticing a lot of people coming out now with their dogs for mini run sessions, which has been very refreshing to see. You get it. I always feel like if I see more people running around, then I get a bit more safer rather than in like the hot summer when there isn't a lot of people around, especially even in the morning or in the evening, just jogging around town. You get it? So the more I see people, the more confident and comfortable, almost say uncomfortable, comfortable I get. I think last week I touched on the topic of what social justice means, as well as like in the church. Okay, so this is a very touchy subject, more like a touchy topic, especially as a Christian. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like in the body of Christ, they are like certain topics that we intentionally so try by all means to make sure that even if we're preaching or whatever is happening, we just don't touch on them. You get it? We just pray on them. I like what is it, the book Make Room by Sarah Lee. Oh, God bless that woman. Like the things in that book, God, yo, it's deep. And I feel like God is doing something in the church. You get it? And I understand as well that sometimes we can be very impatient when it comes to things like race and racism in South Africa. Especially, we will say that, well, South Africa or the democracy has been in existence for like 28 years already. You get it? So it doesn't make sense why we still have to our kids that are going to school still have to deal with issues of racism. You get it? First, else like this is something that it was abolished 28 years ago. You get it? But in all honesty, oh, it's not complex. You get it? But at the same time, it's ingrained and it's embedded, and some people will not be aware that they have that until they're put in such a like certain situations that exposes what they thought it didn't exist in them. You get it? There's this thing of like sometimes we say that, oh well, I'm colorblind. You get it? So but then you realize that if you are saying you are colorblind already, you have disqualified my voice. You get it? You've nullified everything that I would say that I'm experiencing because of my skin color. You get it? So at the same time, this is not to put fire into things that are currently happening or put fire into like good intending people. You get it? Because sometimes then even the good people that are trying to make this thing work, they always feel like they are being attacked when we talk about race. You get it? I remember last year in one of my classes, PG Deep, Sustainable Development at Stellenbosch University. It's yo, that's another level of how they conduct those sessions. Like the class, I recommend it for anyone. If you have a degree and you don't know what to do, go and do the postgraduate diploma in sustainable development from Stellenbosch University. And it's good because like if you are working, then you can just do it over 2 years. You get it? And you can get to immerse yourself deeply into understanding South Africa in a nutshell and the things that make South Africa. You get it? And also working together with people that are seeing these things that are problematic in South Africa and they want to implement change. You get it? But okay, one thing I liked about those classes is that like before you can even start thinking about implementing change, you need to start from within, but dig deeper. You get it? What is pushing you? What is driving you? You get it? What are the things that are just making you want to do the things that you're doing? You get it? So you have to dig deeper and find out those things in yourself. You get it? Some things we're not even aware that we had them in us until last year. It felt like it was just like a revival. Oh Lord. You get it? So I really, really appreciate that. And I feel like it was designed with good intentions. And those good intentions, there's so much that you just learn, not only about yourself, but also about South Africa and how you can navigate change in South Africa. You get it? So for me, it was very challenging, especially what was it? It was one of my governance. Yes, it was the governance one, as well as like in colonization. So I had to understand the history of South Africa and also understand like governance in South Africa. You get it? Why are things the way that they are? You get it? And then digging deeper back into colonization, so many things were a bit uncomfortable. The fact that I'm a Christian, and the fact that like if you dig into history of colonization all over Africa, Christianity pops in. You get it? And you're like, you get it? And then suddenly I had to face myself, because I'm always one of those people of love and reconciliation, and I've always believed in like love and reconciliation has to be the sole mandate that is being preached. You get it? There's no point for us to continue talking about the history of colonization in Africa and all of that. You get it? I always felt like move on. You get it? But at the same time, I realized as well that I was not doing it correctly. You get it? Because like you find out that issues of race and colonization are just interwoven with the movement of Christianity and church in Africa. You get it? There's no way that you can separate those two. Perhaps then it made me realize that maybe that's the reason why there has been a lot of resistance towards Christianity in Africa for a lot of generations. You get it? I understand that now, like it has been popular like the last couple of years because of like prosperity preaching. You get it? But then you realize that in South Africa, for example, the Zion movement, it's one of the most champion churches. You get it? Because of what it has managed to some extent to incorporate what is it, Christianity with the African ways of doing things. You get it? So it's popular for a lot of people because they prefer that, because it doesn't substitute the African way of doing things. You get it? With the Western way of doing things, because like then you I feel like a 15 minutes video is not enough to talk about the issue of like the history of church and all of that in South Africa and how you can debunk everything. But yeah, it was just like, you get it, when you go through readings. I had to write my assignment last year, like 8,000 word assignment, and then you go through a reading, Christianity pops in, another reading, Christianity throw in, and like, God, what were those evangelists doing in Africa? Did they have good intentions for our nation, like our African continent, or what? You get it? But at the same time, you realize that there is a good possibility that some of them thought they were doing it the right way. You get it? Because like they bringing Christianity here. You get it? But at the same time, they were probably more like if you're coming from America or Europe, for example, you are probably coming with the government officials, right? So you are the forefront, the forehead. You get it? Like the person who will help navigate that, because you are the person of light. You get it? But then there are things that are in the Bible that talk about dominion. You get it? There's things like slavery. You get it? And there's so many of that. You get it? Because like people have already like always said that the Bible actually condone slavery. You get it? I cannot say anything, but at the same time, all I can say is that there are verses that when you read there, you're like, such as like slaves obey your masters, you get it, and all of that. So um because like when you read there, you find out that obviously they wanted a way to communicate with locals, right? So the only way that they thought was appropriate way was teaching how to read and write, you get it. And reading and writing, they decided to use what? A Bible, you get it. And as they using the Bible, it ended up being what? A way of indoctrinating the locals as like, this is the face of Jesus. The face of Jesus is white. You get it? So they are coming as what? As the light. They are white. And you get it? And for us, we just need to what? We have to submit because this is what God wants for us. Yeah. So there's been yeah, like it sort of did make so much sense now that like why there was so much movement between 2014, 15 and 16 in the universities about decolonization, and I always felt uncomfortable. I would always move away from people that start talking about decolonization, you get it? Because for me it always felt like it doesn't make sense why you guys now want to pick fight, you get it? You want to like pick racial wars because there's peace. You get it? Until now, like last year when now like I had to face that thing that I didn't want it to face, you get it? That thing that has always made me uncomfortable, you get it? I hated those topics about decolonization because I feel like we're just starting things that are not there. And then now suddenly I just realized, you get it? So now I think instead of, yeah, like these are the conversations that we need to talk more about in church. And I like the fact that the Assemblies of God movement, like the Assemblies of God of South Africa, is suddenly like at this moment they are dealing with what is justice and what is justice according to the Bible. You get it? So before we even go there, we need to do what? We need to start from the history of the church in Africa. You get it? So that we can understand better, especially what the like if people want to win people to Christ, black people to Christ. Let me put it that way, you get it? We need to like they need to be able to come in the place of recognizing the wrongs of the past, you get it? Because not a lot of the people in the past ever received any apology for the things that happened, you get it? For me now, I look at this situation as like 50 years from now, that generation 50 years from now will probably say so many things. They will probably be angry at my generation for the things that we are currently doing now. You get it? We think we are doing things the right way. You get it? Maybe that church there at the back there, like those 200 years ago, also thought that they were doing things the right way. You get it? Because like colonization has always been seen as like we are bringing civilization to the black people. You get it? We taking the black people from darkness. You get it? And then we're bringing them to light, which is we are the light. You get it? The culture and all of these things, they are bound in principalities. You get it? We are separating them from all these things. You get it? As good intentions those things were, you get it? Now when we look at those things now where we are at this moment, those things became chains for our nations. They became chains for what? For the black community. You get it? It's like as much as we have spiritual principalities that we're fighting against, generational curses and all of that, we still have those chains of colonizations that we constantly still fighting to break through from. You get it? It will take years and years because that, and then as you read, you find out that the issue of colonizations and all the African countries that are in a mess now, they've been picking and trying to come out of that mess, and it's still an issue. You get it? There are still African countries that are paying, taxes to foreign countries, even to this day. So many African countries still tied in debt and all of that. And then now it's like, it's a lot. What is my role now as a Christian? Do I kneel down and pray to God that something happens? Or do I become part of the change? You get it? Part of the change of making sure that we are raising Africa from the pit together, not just praying, but doing it in action as well, working together. You get it? Finding ourselves in those positions of leadership and doing what? And praying and effecting change at the same time. You get it? Because we don't want to get our hands dirty. We don't like things like politics. I'm one of those people, you get it? But now I am finding myself that perhaps there's something that I could do to effect change. You get it? If you're finding yourself there, you are in the position of privilege. You get it? I always say that, fine, I've worked for my things, therefore people say I don't qualify to call myself privileged. But at the same time, there are other Black people, other people of color that are working just as hard as I'm working. You get it? But there are so many systematical limitations that are preventing them from succeeding and finding themselves in the same position that I'm in. Should we call them lazy or not working hard enough like I am working hard? You get it? So it means what? The system did what? Favored me. You get it? So I become what? The token. You get it? Therefore, it means what? It means that now they can say what? The system is working because it was able to lift me from the pits of poverty to where I am now. You get it? But at the same time, we're saying it's not excellence until we are able to pull everyone, each and every one of those people that are still struggling down there. You get it? So it means what? The system has not been working. And then also the issue of fatherlessness in South Africa. That's another topic. I had to do an essay on the issue of like close to 70% of children in South Africa are being raised by mothers alone and no fathers, no way that you can find the fathers. You get it? And then you ask yourself, what went wrong? You get it? And then it goes back again to that system and that issue. You get it? So navigating navigating issues of justice in South Africa, we better be prepared to face the truth. You get it? We better be prepared to stop sugaring things and make things look all rosy and all nice. You get it? And be able to hold hands together, irrespective of our races and where we come from. And then that's when we will able to do what? Navigate this gap, navigate all these problems that the country is currently facing. That's the only way. If we keep fooling ourselves and be like, we're just gonna pray only, because like that's the biggest thing we always do as Christians. We run away from facing reality to be like, we'll pray about it, and that's it, ends there. You get it? You're still the same person doing the same thing, boasting yourself about your privilege, saying you work very hard for your things. You get it? What else? There's just someone who's working extra hard, but they are not being able to be where you are. You get it? The system did what? Favored you in place of another person. Let me stop here. But I think those are like those videos that those things I want us to talk more about, because as I said, just a 15 minutes video, it's not enough to talk about these issues and these challenges and how can we work together as a nation, as the body of Christ, to navigate around these things. Thank you so much for tuning in, and please, if you have a comment or you want to say something, you can just go down there in the comment section and then we can talk about it. And then I agree again that some of my views may be problematic, and I apologize sincerely from that. My intentions meant well, but if it doesn't come out nicely, I apologize in advance. Thank you so much for tuning in.